1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the Philipdefranco show, the show that is the best show that's not really a show, but it's me talking to a camera for 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah.
What's happening, nation? Welcome to the Friday show. Now let's jump into some newsy type things that are on my mind today. Our first news story is about genes. Genes are the hereditary sets of instructions that code, usually, for proteins. These proteins are then used by your cells to trigger a precise action. For example, when that one annoying aunt you have says, "Oh, you have your father's hair," what she really means is that it appears that you've inherited a gene or genes that codes for proteins that instruct your hair follicle cells to produce hair that is similar to that of your father's. Now, further research has proven that from our 20,000 genes, more than just what eye color or what hair type we will have can be observed. From our genetic material, many things can be determined. Some life-altering, like the chances of us developing type 2 diabetes, and some not so serious, like the chances of us having dry skin when we get older because of cirrhosis. Now, with these discoveries, many companies started popping up that offer to sequence your genome. The biggest three right now are DecodeMe, Genetics, and 23andMe. Most people have one of two views on these services. They either think that this is something amazing, a way of cheating disease, if you will, because if your results show that your chances of developing a disease are high, the way you will start leading your life would be very different in order to reduce those chances of you getting a disease. On the other hand, many people think that these services will do nothing but numb them, because if they know that they're more likely to develop a disease like cancer later on in life, what's the point in trying? However, what very few people take into consideration is what happens with a genome after it has been sequenced. Are those companies storing our information and releasing it? Are they using those genes for research? Or is this another Facebook privacy scandal? What these companies can do with their information is same as what Facebook does with their information. See, there are two sides to Facebook. There's our side and their side. On our side is where the status updates are, the family, the friends, the messages, and on their side is the business. See, even though Facebook is free, they make a lot of money. And the way they do so is by selling our personal information for profit. And the more information they have, the more profit they make. See how it works? Now imagine, instead of having information like our birthday and what food we'll be having for dinner, if companies were able to sell information or get information like what diseases we're likely to develop or what conditions we already have. To see what exactly is happening with our genome after it has been sequenced, I had to take a better look at the privacy policy and terms of use we agreed to once we clicked that little I agree button. Before reading, the sheer size of these documents was huge. The average size between 23andMe, DecodeMe, and Genetics' privacy policy in terms of use was around 7,000 words long. Now, to give you a better idea of how long that is, the US Constitution is only 4,500 words. So, once I started reading these documents, it was really suspicious because in all three documents, within the first 3 paragraphs, almost the exact same statements were present. And they were that, for your privacy, they get rid of all things that can tie you to your genome. And the other one was that they do not sell any of your information to any third-hand companies. However, even though they are not selling it, they are still releasing it. In all 3 documents, it said, as a legal disclaimer, if any insurance companies ask you if you've had your DNA sequenced, you must check yes. Otherwise, it will be considered fraud. Now, not only does this contradict what they said, but imagine the consequences. If insurance companies are now able to check if our genome has been sequenced, soon other organizations will want in, like police departments. And not too long after that, companies will want to commercialize their information and sell it to other companies. Imagine the Gattaca-esque society that we would develop, where people are hired based on how nice their genome is, rather than how dedicated and intelligent they are. So now you're probably saying, quit assuming, asshole, because the chances of this happening are slim to none. But I beg to differ. In Australia in 2005, it was reported that 1 in 12 people that had their genome sequenced were discriminated against by insurance companies. Believe it or not, genetic discrimination has already hit us. And that is why the US has come out with the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, or GINA. This bill was put into place in order to eliminate genetic discrimination. However, Gina is our douchebag of the day. That is because Gina is a shady hoax. Gina has two loopholes I mean. The first loophole is that Gina allows employers to look at genetic testing once a conditional offer is put forward. A conditional offer like, oh, I don't know, whether to employ someone on contract where their insurance is not part of the company's, or to have someone as a regular employee where their health insurance is part of the company's? Now, the less obvious loophole is in the wording. The purpose of Gina is to ban genetic discrimination. Now, what is the definition of discrimination? According to this dictionary I hold in my hand, discrimination is the unjust treatment of people based on things they have no control over. Unjust. Is it truly unjust to not hire someone who's more likely to develop a life-threatening disease in the future? Someone who might end up working only for a short while? Someone who could potentially jeopardize the well-being of the whole company? This is the equivalent of investing in a company whose chances of going bankrupt are much higher than other companies. But would you still do it if it was the moral thing to do? Or would you save your own behind? I'm not saying that these companies are evil. I'm just saying that we are trusting companies whose intentions are unclear with our genome, literally our lives. I don't know, but to me, that sounds pretty foolish.